Good morning. Morning, everyone. Just on 9:30. Good morning. If you have a bolster, you might like to grab that, or even a cushion or a pillow or a couple of blankets. But if you don't have any props, that's fine. You can do the practice without any props. And I thought we might start in a reclined position this morning. So feel free to lie down, get comfortable, make sure that you're warm. And of course, if you prefer to stay seated, that's fine. So just taking these first few moments to arrive, to land. You might like to sigh the breath away 2 or 3 times. And just let yourself open to this moment from a fresh place. Let this moment be a new beginning, untainted by memories of the past or any expectations you may have about what is to come. You might like to say to yourselves a few times, I recognize the need for silence and stillness in my life. I recognize the need for silence and stillness in my life. One of the gifts of going on retreat or going on a holiday is that it allows us to step outside of our regular routine, our home life, our work life, perhaps even disconnect a little from some of our closest relationships and view things from afar. The beauty of this is that it enables us to gain a different perspective, a wider, perhaps broader perspective, much like climbing into a hot air balloon or imagining traveling to the moon and gazing back at the earth. Our vision expands. We notice different things, including perhaps our interdependence, our connection, as opposed to feeling separate and alone in the world. With a degree of distance, things look and feel different. We're not so caught up in the story, and rather than struggling to find answers to problems or tricky situations, stepping out of the story, even just for a brief moment, can reveal solutions without struggle or too much effort. We can't always go on a retreat or take a holiday, but yoga offers many, many practices that assist us to acquire and cultivate this broader perspective on our mats without leaving our homes. So I thought we might visit or revisit Sutras 1.2, 1.3 and 1.4 from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The overall aim of yoga being described in Sutra 1.2. Yoga is to still the patterning of consciousness. Yoga is to still the thought waves of the mind. Yoga is to bring a natural quiet to the mind and body. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Sutra 1.3 suggests that in this stillness, the knots undo themselves and inner realities begin to emerge. For the first time, we can see clearly, a bit like getting into that hot air balloon or gazing back at our lives from the moon. Tada drastu svarupe avastanam. Tada drastu svarupe avastanam. Sutra 1.4 suggests that if we don't manage to achieve this stillness in order to see clearly, we identify with the activities of the mind. And this is where most of us find ourselves in our day-to-day lives, attached to different stories, caught up in different dramas. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. So to begin today, I'd like to invite you to call to mind something that has been bothering you lately. Perhaps you've been arguing with someone, or you feel annoyed or upset or sad about something. Allow yourself to feel all of your feelings about this situation for a few moments. Notice what's going on in your body, your mind, your heart. And then I invite you to imagine that you are hopping into a hot air balloon and lifting off the ground. Visualize yourself climbing higher and higher. The sun is rising and you can see and feel this magnificent golden ball of energy rising in front of you, climbing higher and higher into the sky. Houses are diminishing in size. Trees look like sticks. Cars look like ants. And you're starting to be amazed at what this higher perspective offers to you. Make sure that you are exhaling fully and completely. And then with this higher perspective, once again call to mind the thing that has been troubling you lately. Look at the situation from this new perspective. Does this new perspective offer you something different? Does it help? The ancient texts tell us that our vision is limited and partial. We get caught up in the activities of the mind. We get stuck in different stories, and thus we're unable to see the whole picture. So a big part of our yogic journey involves helping us learn how to access this expanded perspective more often. So just gently visualize yourself now coming back down to earth, landing on the ground, climbing out of the hot air balloon. And throughout the practice this morning, see if part of you can remain a witness to your experiences, watching and observing the experiences of body and mind without identifying with them too closely. So if you're in a seated position, I invite you now to come to lie down, and we're going to just start by stretching through the whole body. So if you've got a blanket over you, you might leave that on just a little bit longer, but free your arms so that you can inhale and raise the arms overhead. You might like to interlock your thumbs and just wriggle a bit from side to side. And then when you need to, exhale and lower the arms back down. So just do that a couple more times as you breathe in, stretching the arms overhead, perhaps interlocking your thumbs, wriggle and stretch from side to side. And when you need to, exhale and lowering the arms back down. Let's do one more of these. And then take a resting breath. Now, if you've got anything covering you, you might need to remove that at this point. I'm going to work now with the heart breath. So it's a really good cleansing breath, good for helping us to release and let go, particularly good for letting go of frustration or anger. So we'll do 5 of these. As we inhale, we're going to raise the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to make a loud sound through the mouth as we bring the knees in. And you might lift your head towards your knees. So 4 more of these. Inhale, stretch the legs away, arms lift up and overhead. And then exhale through the mouth. Good, so let's keep going. We'll do 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. And last one. Good, just lower the head down, keep the knees in, cross your legs at the ankles, and let's make some little circles on the floor with our lower back. Good, and then cross the legs the other way and let's circle in the opposite direction. And come back to center. All right, knees are in towards the chest. We've got our hands around our knees or under the knees. A little bit of a flowing sequence now. So as we inhale, we're going to take the arms out to shoulder height and raise the legs up to the sky. Toes are turned back towards you, your heels are pressing up. As we exhale, we draw the knees in and give ourselves a hug. On the next inhale, we lower the feet to the mat and we're lifting up into bridge with the arms lifting up and overhead. Exhale, rolling back down and knees come into the chest. So that's 1 round. We'll do 4 more. So breathe your arms out to shoulder height, legs to the sky. Press the lower back down. Exhale, draw the knees in. Feet to the mat. As you lift up into bridge, arms floating overhead. And exhale, rolling back down and knees in. Breathe in. Arms to the side, legs to the sky. Breathe out. Feet to the mat. Inhale, lifting into bridge. And lower. Breathe in, legs to the sky. Feet to the mat. Lifting up, Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. And last one. Just perhaps a little rock from side to side when you finish. Then we're going to move into a supine twist. So a couple of options. You can either have the feet on the mat, or if you'd like to try something a little bit different this morning, we're going to cross the right knee over the left. So just crossing the legs, arms are out to shoulder height, palms facing up. So tuck the chin forward. You can keep that, if you've crossed the legs, you can keep the left foot on the mat, or you might lift it into the air, but probably good to go a little gently at this stage of our practice when we're still warming up. So let's breathe in, and we'll lower the knees over to the left side. And we're just going to hold this. Head may stay in a neutral position, or you might choose to look along that right arm towards your fingers. Just relaxing, softening the skin of the face, the mouth, the teeth, the tongue. Good, and then gently come back to center. Uncross your legs if they are, and we'll bring the left knee on top of the right. Deep breath in, and then we'll lower the knees over to the right side. And again, head may turn to the left or stay in a neutral position, just softening that left shoulder, softening the forehead. And breathe. And slowly come back to center. Bring both knees into the chest. A little rock from side to side. And then we're going to rock over to one side and come up to sit. So you feel free to sit up onto a blanket or a cushion. And we're going to bring the hands into Jhana Mudra. So tucking the index fingers under the thumbs with the palms facing up. You can always have the legs in a diamond shape, or even stretch the legs out if that's better for you this morning. We're going to work with our Yoga Mudra in a moment, where we bow forward 3 times. We're actually going to, when we do come forward, we're going to rock just very subtly 9 times. So you just count to yourself 9 little rocks, and then we'll come up. We're going to add some words to this yoga mudra as well. But first of all, let's just make sure that we have a nice tall spine. Shoulders are softening down. The skin of the face is relaxed. Feeling the support of gravity beneath us. At the same time, and an awareness of sky energy, or the crown of the head lengthening up towards the heavens. That's turning the sides of the mouth up slightly. And you might like to imagine that part of you is hovering up in the sky, looking down, observing and watching everything that you think, that you feel, watching how you move, watching your breath, aware of each breath that flows in and flows out. Exhaling all breath. So on our next inhale, we're going to raise our arms out to the side. And as we exhale, we're coming forward, crossing the wrists behind the body and saying to ourselves, I honor and respect myself. Now 9 little bounces as you're forward, no breath in the body. And then when you finish, inhale, come up, arms out to the side, and hands back to your knees. So we'll do 2 more of these. So breathing in, arms out to the side. And coming forward, I honor and respect others. So everyone that's practicing yoga with us together this morning, our sangha, people we might live with, our friends, our extended family, perhaps our work colleagues. And when it's time, inhale, come up. And exhale. And last one. Forward, I honor and respect the oneness that we all share, that we are all a part of. 9 little bounces. Slowly come up. And hands back to the knees. Bringing the hands into Namaskar Mudra. If you're comfortable, the eyes are closed. And we'll chant 3 Oms together. Taking a deep breath in. Just gently bow your head towards your heart. Just lift the head, release the hands. We're going to come onto all fours. Any knee issues, you might want to pop a folded blanket or some cushions under the knees. Coming onto all fours with the spine in a neutral position, fingers spread wide, shoulders are directly over your wrists. And then when you're ready, let's breathe in as we lift the tailbone, let the belly drop, and looking forward and up, keep the face soft. On the exhalation, rounding the back, looking down. long, smooth inhalation and long, smooth exhalation. Work with this now at your own pace. Let your breath guide the movement. Being a little curious this morning about how your spine is feeling, your back. Stay with your breath, listening to the sound of the inhale and the exhale. Good. After your next inhalation, we're going to make our way back into extended child. So bringing the buttocks back towards your heels, arms extending forward. Keep breathing. And we'll add a lateral stretch while we're here. So just lift the head up, walk your hands over to the left side. You can either keep both arms straight and about shoulder distance apart, or you can bend that right arm and just rest the hand on your left upper arm, and you can rest the forehead on that right forearm. So just a variation. Otherwise, the arms are both straight. And we're breathing into that right side of the torso. Good, and then walk your hands back to center and around to the other side. So same thing, arms can stay straight, or we can bend the left arm and rest our forehead on the left forearm. Good, come back to center. And we're going to make some circles in the air now with our hips. So we come around to one side as we inhale, coming forward, and then exhale around to the other side and back. So around to one side, forward to the other side and back. Good. So again, in your own time, some nice slow circles with your hips. And then we'll reverse directions. And one more. Good. Take a breath. And then we'll come up onto all fours once again to work with a bit of a stretch for our calves. So knees are together and we're just going to take one leg back, doesn't matter which one, tuck the toes under, and then we're holding this stretch. Any issues with the wrists, you could make fists with the hands or try turning your fingers out to the side. Connecting with your breath. Good, and then just lifting that leg up into the air, and let's circle the foot around. Nice slow circles. And reverse. And then just point and flex that foot a few times. Good, and then lower that knee down. Let's try the other side. Tuck the toes under. And breathe. And then lifting that leg up, and let's circle the foot. And reverse. And then point and flex a few times. Good, and release. All right, you can come up onto the knees or sit however you'd like to. We'll just do a little bit of a stretch for the wrist. So bring the elbows into the side waist, and then we're just making some nice slow circles with our hands, keeping the palms facing down as we do this. And reversing. Good, and then make fists with the hands with the thumbs tucked inside, and same thing. So keep the palms facing down. And reverse. Good shake. All right, let's come back onto all fours. Knees are together, working with a variation of tiger. So when we're ready, we will inhale and draw the right knee in towards the forehead. As we exhale, we'll extend the right leg back. On the next inhale, knee comes to the shoulder. And exhale, we lower the knee. And then we'll do the other side. So left knee comes in and extends back. Knee to shoulder and down. So right side, knee to forehead and back to the shoulder and down. Knee to forehead and back to the shoulder and down. Let's do one more to each side. So right knee in, back to the shoulder and down. Left knee in, back to the shoulder and down. Take a breath. And breathe yourself into cat. Tuck your toes. Down face dog pose. Let's hold this for one breath. And then lowering your knees and into child. So let's work with a few of these now. Breathing yourself up into cat, tuck your toes, down face dog pose, staying for a breath. Lowering down into child. Long, smooth inhalation and long, smooth exhalation. Back into cat and child. We'll do two more, and last one we'll hold dog and work with a little variation. Last one, coming up into dog. And if you'd like to, just take the feet a little bit wider apart and swivel your feet to the left. So your right big toe is just put behind the left heel. And hopefully feeling a lovely stretch down that left side of the torso. Breathe into that space. And then back to center and swivel the feet around to the right. Back to center. Let's inhale, come down onto our knees. And exhale into child. And we'll just have a little rest, so you can either release your arms back alongside you or make fists with the hands and just rest your forehead on your fists. Again, you might like to imagine that part of you is hovering above in the sky, watching, looking down, observing, noticing, witnessing everything that you think, that you feel, noticing every breath flowing in and flowing out. All right, let's extend the arms forward once again, preparing to lift up into down face dog pose. Inhale, come into cat, tuck your toes, and moving into dog. Now you can either hold dog, or we're going to work with another variation, walking the feet together and raising the right leg up. So coming into the three-legged dog and just holding this for 2 or 3 breaths. Flexing the right foot, keeping the hips square, letting the head relax down. And then we'll lower that right foot down and take the left leg up, flexing the foot, hips are level. Good, lower the left foot, separate the feet once again. And then we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. Legs can be bent or straight here as we lift up halfway. And exhale, lower down. And we might do that again as you breathe in, lift up halfway. And lower down. Now we're going to go up to stand through Utkatasana, our chair pose. So bend the legs quite generously as you inhale, coming up, take the arms up. We'll hold for a few breaths. If this is a bit much for your shoulders, you can hold on to the opposite elbow or even have your hands on your thighs. Breathing. Good. And then inhale, standing tall. Bring your palms together and exhale. Good. Coming into Tadasana, feet hip width apart, have your arms by your side. And on your next inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, fingertips touch as you press down through the feet. And as we exhale, the arms float down. So with this simple movement, we're focusing on that feeling of expansion as we breathe in. Expanding the lungs and emptying as we exhale. You might like to say to yourselves a few times, I welcome an expanded perspective. I welcome an expanded perspective. Work at your own pace. If you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit, on the next one, we'll lift up onto our tiptoes. It becomes a bit of a balance. As you exhale, you lower the heels as the arms float down. Keep the face relaxed. No tension in the mouth. Breathing in, I welcome an expanded perspective. Now, whether you're lifting onto your tiptoes or not, this time let's change it a little bit. So we'll inhale the arms up, fingertips touch. And this time as we exhale, we're actually pausing. So we're holding here. Try to relax the shoulders a little bit. Breathe in, stretching up, opening up. And then on the second exhalation, we float the arms down. So let's try 2 more of these. Breathe in. I welcome an expanded perspective. As we exhale, we hold this position. Breathe in. And let everything go. Last one. And finish. Just rest for a breath. Let's work with our swaying palm tree pose. So breathe the arms above the head. We're going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, and lean over to the left side. Breathing yourself back to center and to the other side. Inhale, center, and release the arms down. Do 2 more of these. Breathe in. Turn the palms up and over to the left. Back to center. And to the right. Last one. Again, take a resting breath. So we're going to work with a few rounds of our flowing bird. Birds offering us also a lifted perspective. So I like to imagine you are your favourite bird as we work with this practice. Let's inhale and sweep the arms up overhead. You might have a little bit of a back bend here. And then exhale, bend the legs. Legs can stay bent or straighten as the arms come up behind us. Breathe in. And arms by your side. So you can keep this really slow, or you might speed it up a little bit. Just keep connected to your breath. Let the breath guide the movement. Finish the one you're on, and we'll work with 3 more. Last one. And release. Let's step to the fronts of our mats into Tadasana with the hands back into Namaskar Mudra prayer position. So in a moment, we're going to go through some rounds of Chandra Namaskara. We haven't done this for a while. Salute to the moon. We have got a full moon coming at the end of this week. And also, again, that idea of traveling up to the moon and looking down at our lives from that higher perspective. So if you're a bit low in energy, feel free to modify. Remember, you can always sit or lie down and even visualize yourself doing the physical practice. Otherwise, let's exhale all breath, release the arms down and breathe the arms up. And exhale. Inhale. So optional little baby back bend here. And then we come forward, legs bent or straight, stepping the left leg back. So we lower the knee, and then we come into Ardha Chandrasana, crescent moon. Exhale, come down. No breath in the body as we come into plank. Then the 8-pointed position. And then we come through into a low cobra as we inhale. Bend the legs and into dog. And let's just pause here for one breath. Stepping the left leg forward. So we lower the right knee. And again, inhale, Ardha Chandrasana, crescent moon. Exhale, the hands down, step the right leg forward. Inhale, come up. Palms together and exhale. So we're going to do 3 more of these. Inhale. Exhale. So optional little back bend. And coming forward. This time we take the right leg back and breathe the arms up, crescent moon. Exhale into plank. And then the 8-pointed position through into cobra. And back into dog, and we pause for a breath. Stepping the right leg forward. Left knee down, inhale, crescent moon. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale, come up. And exhale. So that's halfway. Breathe in. So left leg back. Inhale. Into plank. 8-pointed position. Bhujangasana. Into dog, and we pause for a breath. Left leg forward. And inhale, arms up. And right leg forward. So last one without my voice. When you finish resting the hands at the heart, you might like to sigh the breath away, softening the shoulders. Release your hands. Let's step the legs wide apart, outer edges of the feet parallel, working with a variation of triangle, Trikonasana. So as we breathe in, we're going to raise the arms out to the side, turning to the left, and then we're tipping over to the left side, looking down towards our left big toe. And then we breathe ourselves back to center, turning to the right and tipping over to the right side. Inhale. Do 2 more to each side. Exhale. Inhale back to center. And exhale. And keep the legs where they are, but we're just going to turn our toes out and work with a squat. And we're going to hold the squat this morning. So you might Have the hands on the hips, so you might just have your arms by your side. And let's breathe in, raise the arms above the head. And coming into our squat. And you can keep the hands wherever's comfortable, on your hips or in prayer or in Jnana Mudra. And then we raise the arms out to the side, just as we did for our Yoga Mudra. So we're holding here, nice straight spine, face relaxed, chin tucked in a little bit so the back of the neck is long. You might like to see if you can lift your 10 toes off the floor as you hold this position. And then see if you can lift just one heel up, hold that. And then the other side. And then see if you can lift both heels, bit of a balance. Good. Stay another few breaths if you're happy here. Of course, you can come out whenever you need to. Finish your night, get the legs very shady. One more standing pose before we come back down to the floor. A balance, so if you're feeling a bit wobbly, feel free to have a chair near you or a wall. But we'd have a go at dancing Shiva. So we can start off with a very gentle option. Some of you might like to take it a bit further. So I'm going to do it sideways. So we'll start off by shifting the weight into the left foot. Lengthening up through the crown top, the shoulders are relaxed. And then we're going to bend the right leg and see if we can hold on to the foot and perhaps draw the heel towards the buttock. Then if we can, we extend this left arm up. So this is our first position, and we might choose to stay here or even have a hand on the wall or a chair for a bit of support. Those of you who'd like to take this a little bit further, you can start to lean forward, kicking the right leg back. Dancing Shiva. Slowly reverse and release the hand, release the leg. Come back into Tadasana, take a breath. And then we'll try the other side. So shifting the weight into the right foot, pick up the left. A good hold, and then perhaps taking that right arm up. And breathe. And perhaps staying here or choosing to lean forward, kicking the left leg back into the air. Slowly come up. Release. All right, if you have a bolster or some cushions or a pillow, I invite you to grab that now. If you don't have anything, don't worry. And we're going to come into supported child. So placing your support, might be a rolled up blanket between your inner thighs and then coming forward. And you can turn your head to one side. So just having a little rest for a moment. Feeling spacious through the back of the body. So the back of the body has opened up a little bit more this morning. Again, you might like to imagine part of you is hovering above, gazing down, aware of what you are thinking and feeling and doing, noticing, aware of the state of your heart, the breath, each inhale, each exhale. But it's a compassionate, kind attention. It's not harsh, it's not judgmental, it's just curious and loving, kind attention, gentle, tender attention. Now, if your head is turned to one side, gently turn it the other way now. And then let's slowly come up. I could have stayed there another 5 minutes. It's very nice. And we're going to come into supported fish. So again, you could do this without any support, just resting on the arms, or rolled up blanket, pillow like I've got this morning. Doesn't matter, you can always use something in the house. Doesn't have to be a proper yoga bolster. We're popping that behind us. Any neck issues, remember you make a little pillow, some support for the back of the head. You can have the legs stretched out, or even in Supta Baddha Konasana, if you feel like something a little more open. You might, at this point, cover yourselves with a blanket, pop socks on. Arms can be down on the body or alongside you, or perhaps even stretched overhead. And again, we're focusing on that feeling of expansion here, of spaciousness. I welcome an expanded perspective. I welcome an expanded perspective. Just connecting with your breath. Long, smooth inhalation, filling the lungs. Savoring that feeling, perhaps a little pause at the top of the inhale, and then a long, smooth exhalation as you empty, and perhaps pause for a moment at the end. So we're going to stay here for another few minutes. But of course, you can come out at any time if you need to. over the next 30 seconds, preparing to come out of fish. The safest way is to roll to one side and sit up that way. If you know your neck's really strong, you can sit straight up, but just be very careful. And just coming into a seated position, you might sit up onto some support, even that bolster. And we'll just have a little gentle forward fold. So legs might be crossed or straight, Paschimottanasana if you prefer, or a diamond shape. Just a gentle counterpose to that back bend. Coming forward. And let's slowly come up. And either sitting cross-legged or legs can be stretched out in front. We'll just do a gentle twist. So we'll raise the arms out to shoulder height, lengthen up through the crown top, and we're twisting to the left. Turning to look over that shoulder. The back hand might be on the floor, or some of you might like to wrap it around your waist, your back, and reaching for your right hip crease. Back to center. To the right. And back to center. So let's come to lie down now for Shavasana, relaxation. If you want, you can pop that support under the backs of your knees, or just lie flat and make sure that you are warm. I'm going to come up to be closer to you again. Perhaps sighing the breath away as you settle down, comfortable and warm. Allowing the body to drop down into the support of Mother Earth. Again, you might imagine that part of you is hovering up in the sky, perhaps even on the moon, gazing down at you lying there, noticing everything, aware of everything, witnessing what's going on inside of you, as well as outside. Giving yourself permission now to rest and to enjoy this time of deep rest. While you're resting, I'd like to share a passage with you from the yoga teacher Eric Schiffman. there is a larger perspective available to you, the aerial perspective about what happens in your life. When you're on the ground, so to speak, your outlook and perspective on your life are necessarily limited. No matter how educated you are or how large your repertoire of life experience, you can only see so far and therefore have only so much information. Yoga helps us to see that we have ready access to an expanded knowledge, a larger perspective, a more inclusive outlook on life with a simple shift of attention. You have the capability to transcend your necessarily limited ground level awareness for the vaster perspective. The wisdom and information from this larger perspective will help you navigate your way through life and make your most important decisions. Once you understand how personally and collectively advantageous it is to be attentive to the cosmic broadcast, you will gladly listen inwardly for guidance. Why drive through life with limited vision when you have such easy access to an expanded perspective? Why suffer when you have the means with which to end all suffering? Whenever you have a decision to make during the day, observe your perspective on the situation and recognize when it is limited. Then, knowing it is in your best interest to access the larger knowledge, ask for it. Deliberately suspend your partial knowing and ask the greater overview for advice. Ask for clarification and listen. Accessing guidance through inner listening is how you get clear. So let's start now to deepen the breath and bring some movement into your fingers and toes. Of course, you can remain as you are if you're happy here and you'd like to keep resting. Otherwise, have a little bit of a stretch and then rolling over to one side and making your way up into a comfortable seated position. One of the ways of grasping the Yoga Sutras is to chant them, that the meaning, the intention behind each sutra can soak into our being and actually alter ourselves on a really deep level just by actually chanting the sutras. And this is true even for the names of postures. When we're chanting, when we're practicing a pose, we can actually chant the out loud or just mentally chant the Sanskrit name, and it can have a very deep and profound impact on us on a soul level, not just a physical or mental level. So I thought to close, we might just chant Sutra 1.2, Sutra 1.3, and Sutra 1.4. You can just listen if you prefer, if you're not that familiar with them. Otherwise, just join with me. We'll chant each one 3 times. So beginning with Sutra 1.2, which is the main aim of yoga. So just exhale all breath. Breathing in. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So Sutra 1.3. Tada drastu svarupe avastanam. Tada drastu svarupe avastanam. Tada drastu svarupe avastanam. And Sutra 1.4. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Take a deep breath in and out. Bring the hands together at the heart. We'll chant one Om to close our practice together. Deep breath in. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks for joining me this morning. Hope you enjoy the rest of today and see you soon. Bye for now.